Hello, Omar.
Hey Alan, how are you?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm really fine.
Excellent, excellent. You can see
Yeah,
my hair is a little bit more
yeah,
normal than
it's
the last
very
time we talked.
long, yes. But it looks really beautiful.
Oh, thank you very much. You're very kind.
Yeah, I had too many exams, that's why I couldn't use Cambly for a long time, but now I'm
Oh,
here.
excellent. How did your exams go?
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah,
Excellent. You're
yeah, I've been
happy?
working too much, that's why.
You're a hardworking man.
Yeah, I have 1 year left to graduation, that's why I'm working a
Excellent.
lot.
Are you excited?
Yes, too
It's
much.
excellent. And how many
Yeah.
years is that now? Two that you've done so far?
In nursing?
Yeah.
We have 4 years in
Wow.
Turkey,
Long time.
and totally five because we have 1 year a preparation year. We
Ah,
learning English
excellent.
as a second language. How are you?
Ah, that's amazing. Yeah.
What have you been up to?
And
Yeah,
me, let me see, what have I been up to? Nothing too crazy.
nothing too
Just,
crazy.
yeah, been making some plans, things.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I might move to a different country next year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to my girlfriend's hometown for Christmas. So
Mm-hmm.
this is in Brazil. So this is going to be the first time I ever had Christmas Day on a warm day. I'm not sure
Wow.
what to expect.
So you're now in Ireland
I'm in Italy right now.
and Italy again.
Yeah, I'm all over the place.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. Next year I will visit Italy, I think, with
Awesome.
a volunteer project. I'm not pretty sure, but I will go there.
Cool. Come say hello.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Today I prepare a list again for you, but this time I think we should do something different in Cambly as a first time.
Sure.
I have a interview question here. I mean, job interview.
Excellent.
If you like, I can ask those questions for you, or if you like, you can ask me those questions, and we can check it. You can correct my answers or something like that. It's gonna be a really good conversation.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, let's get this started.
Yeah, before we start, again, I will let you know, I have a YouTube channel, and after this conversation, I'm gonna load this video in my channel.
Excellent. Hello, world.
Hello, world. Yes, you have really fans all over the world.
Excellent.
Okay, the first question is very popular, as you can see. Like, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Okay. My name is Alan. I'm 32. I'm from Ireland. I recently completed my degree in psychology, and I'm currently looking for a job, which is why I'm here at this interview today.
Wow, very energetic.
Thank
Very.
you. I've
That's it.
Let me tell you something. I've done a lot of interviews.
Wow, really?
Oh yeah. When I was younger, I never really stayed at a job for too long, so I was always going to different places.
Wow, that's good.
Glad you like that. What would you say?
And what would I say? Again, my name is Omar, and I was born in Germany, and now I'm living in Turkey. I graduated in a university, the university that I'm taking my education right now. And I am interested with psychology, sport, martial arts, and personal development books or something.
That's
Uh,
fantastic. I didn't go into
yeah.
enough about my hobbies, did I?
Yeah, my hobbies are riding a bike, eating, cooking, talking with foreign people. That's all.
Excellent. Very nice. Yeah. This is exactly the kind of answer that they would be looking for.
Okay. The second question is, how did you hear about the position?
Do you know, I learned a lot about this kind of question actually. When someone asks you this, they want to know how interested you are in the position. They're hoping that you actively went and looking for this job post, the post where they say what they're looking for.
Okay.
That shows how interested you are in the position. Whereas if you say, "Oh, I heard my friend talk about it or my friend mentioned it," it's just something that just happened.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very important, I think, if you want to get the idea across that that this job is right for you. You said, "Oh, I was reading about this company. I like this company, and I noticed that you had a job opening. So then
Uh-huh.
I decided to apply."
Okay. That's a good tip for me.
Excellent.
Yeah, I would say in that question, as you say, I was reading about your company, but I'm gonna be a nurse, let's say in hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I checked your history. I know what kind of position that you wanna, take employee, employer. What was the difference?
You want to take an employee?
Employee, yeah,
Yeah.
in that position. And I think I'm the best one.
Excellent. Yeah, you got to get that right in there.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was just joke,
Of
I
course.
was kidding. Yeah. Can I say something different in that question?
I think that's the best way. I think it's very important, like you pointed out, where you talk a little bit about the history of the place. If you're the kind of person who doesn't like, if it's not true that you went looking for this job, if you heard about it and you don't want to pretend that you went looking for it, you could say, "Oh, I heard about this position, and because of your strong reputation or your great history in this field, I felt that I needed to apply. I wanted to be a part of that."
The best answer that we can say.
So I think so. I think it's very important to show that you didn't just arrive on the day hoping to get a job. You did a little bit of homework and learned a little bit about who these people are.
Yeah, and I have a short research.
Exactly.
Exactly, yeah.
Just know a little bit about them.
But what will happen if we say, I just heard from my friend, my best friend?
I think it kind of sounds like you're not really overly interested in the job. I made this mistake one time when I was applying to a college, actually. And they said, "So you're interested in doing this course?" And I said, "Yeah, it looks very interesting." And they said, "What part of this course looks interesting?" And I didn't have an answer. I didn't read the book.
You did that mistake.
Yeah,
too.
I made that mistake. I'll never make that mistake again. It was a little bit embarrassing.
I see. Okay. Okay. The next question is, what do you know about the company?
You see, this is where that plays in.
In this question? For example, let's imagine that I'm in hospital and job interviews. What should I say in that question?
Well, I would talk. If this hospital does any research or anything like this, I think because research is usually very up to date and it's the most modern thing that these kind of places do, where it's continuing to happen all the time, you could talk about that and say you're very interested in this, and this is what brought this hospital, for example, to your attention. You could also say something like you know somebody else who worked there, and they spoke very positively of the place. They had nothing but good things to say. You could talk about. I'm not overly familiar with nursing as a job, but maybe there's something that they do with nurses that's a little bit different from other places. Maybe something like the scheduling is very good, or there's very clear communication with the management. These kind of things. Something that shows that you've put in a little bit of effort in. I think it goes a long way.
Okay. Should I say, a short answer or long answer? I'm
not really sure. I think sometimes you get a different vibe. I know from experience what they're looking for. I try to be very friendly. I make it very casual, because I think if these people can't just have a casual conversation, I probably don't want to work there.
Okay, it should be formal conversation, right?
Yeah,
job interview.
So it should be kind of formal, but sometimes if you can occasionally go a little bit more casual, and speak about yourself in a casual way, then the other person you can tell if they like that or not. Do you know what I mean? And if they like being casual, you can build a kind of a bond, with that person, and they'll remember you more rather than if you're answering the questions like a robot. You know what I
mean? Without any emotion.
Exactly. So I would say that in a job interview, it's not the place to make jokes or anything like this, but you can sometimes be a little bit casual, but within certain limits.
It depends the energy,
Exactly.
Some people don't give a confident feeling when they are talk.
Exactly. And so when you go in there, the interviewer will kind of set the tone of what kind of interview it's going to be. If they have a big smile on their face, if they're like, "Hi, how are you? Do you want anything?" Then it's going to be nice and relaxed. But if they're stone-faced, as we say, just staring at you, it's best just to give the answers and then run.
Yeah, we shouldn't act like a dead person.
Exactly. I believe
or zombies.
this is called mirroring. Let me just type that in. Mirroring.
Okay.
So you kind of want to act the way they are acting.
Mirroring, okay. Copying their behavior.
Exactly, to a certain extent. You don't want to be doing exactly everything that they're doing.
Okay. The next question is, why do you want this job?
This is the best one. Okay,
Best one.
So I think there's a few things to keep in mind with this one.
Can we say I want this job because I need money?
Oh, I think that's the last thing you should say.
Answer.
Even though it's absolutely true, you shouldn't say this.
We should lie then?
I suppose. I mean, I think they call this a white lie, where you're not telling the truth, but it's not hurting anyone. But I would say something interesting about this question is they're testing you to see if you will say something bad about where you used to work. So they're not, if you're the kind of person who comes in and says, no, I had to get out of my last job, I didn't get on with my coworkers, I didn't like the boss, they're going to be thinking, do I really want to hire this person? They don't get on with other people. And what if he leaves my company? At the next interview, is he going to be telling people that I'm a bad boss? So sometimes it's important to remember in interviews that some of the questions are, they're not trying to find out exactly what they ask. They're almost like trick questions.
Oh, so we should say a little bit white lie.
Yeah, maybe. You could say, if you don't have anything positive to say about your previous employer, don't say anything about them. Say, I'm just looking for a new challenge. I'm looking to move on to the next stage of my career.
Okay, the best answer that we can use. Okay, the next question is, I think it's similar, but why should we hire you?
Yeah, that's a great one.
I think it's about personalities or what they are looking for in this question.
Yeah, so I think a great one actually is to say that you're self-motivated. A lot of people will come in and say, I work really hard, but sometimes they're the kind of people who needs a boss to tell them to work hard. When you say you're self-motivated, it means you're the kind of person who can tell themselves to work hard and that they will do what needs to be done. It's also important to remember that you mentioned that you're good at working alone or in groups or both, so they have an idea of what kind of position to put you in. And I would recommend for someone maybe who's just out of university or hasn't had a job before, a full-time career kind of job, maybe you could mention specific things that you've done in the past, like projects or work experience. Use these in place of having experience in other fields.
For example, I think I will work in Canada as a nurse because I don't want to work in Turkey, but it depends on the situation again. Let's imagine that I am in Canada in job interviews. They're going to ask me that question, why should we hire you? Can I say like I was born in Europe and I think that I can get along well with the coworkers in hospital and I know 3 languages or something? Should I say my talent or my personalities? What should I talk exactly? Yeah,
I think for you, as you say, 3 languages, and Canada in particular is a very multicultural society. I think speaking 2 languages would be great, but speaking 3, that's amazing. There's not that many people out there that speak 3 languages. So you would be able to build a good rapport with the patients,
Patients, yeah.
If you can speak their native language with them, that's great. Put them at ease, make them feel comfortable.
Can we count body language as well?
Yeah, sure. Why not? If you're a friendly person, if you're an easygoing person. What do you call this in the medical field? Like bedside manner or something like this, isn't it?
Bedside manner?
Yeah, something like that, isn't it?
What is that?
It's like when you were dealing with with
bad patient?
Yeah, with any kind of patient. It's like the attitude that you have towards them. and how they react to you. You have a good bedside manner.
We call it professional management.
Excellent. I think
we have this lecture in university.
I see. I think the phrase I'm using is kind of old-fashioned.
Yeah. And we have a psychology lesson this year in second term.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I really fall in love with psychology. I have many books, but I haven't read it yet.
Yeah. The thing about psychology books is you start reading them, you won't stop. They're so interesting.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, really.
Excellent.
Okay. The next one is, what are your greatest professional strengths?
Yeah.
My favorite question.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a difficult one. So,
yeah.
Professional strengths. I think a lot of people start off by talking about they are punctual. You know, they are always on time. But I think sometimes if you have to say you're punctual, I think you're setting the bar very low. I think all workers should be arriving on time, you know. I think it kind of, for me, it goes without saying, but it's also a very common thing for everyone to talk about. I think your strengths, your professional strengths, I would say I get on well with other people. I work well in a group, but I'm also very independent. I am reliable. And as we mentioned earlier, self-motivated. I think that's the most important one. Your boss doesn't want to have to worry about finding you wherever you are and making sure you're working your hardest. He wants to know that you are working your hardest all the time.
Okay, but that was good. I'm reliable. Get along well. And what was the next one? Self-motivated.
Self-motivated and also independent.
Okay, I'm gonna use that if it's possible.
Yeah, and you can always say, I learn quickly, you know?
Yeah, it fits me. Yeah,
excellent.
I'm learning quickly. Yeah, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay. Okay, what do you consider to be your weakness?
Yeah. Now, this is, as I mentioned before, I think that this is
to be quite honest, I hate children. Can I say this? Really, I don't want to work in children clinics. I hate them.
I suppose as long as you're not applying for a children's clinic, I would probably avoid saying that. But
this is honesty.
Yeah, sometimes the job interview is not the place for honesty.
Yeah, that's true. Unfortunately,
I would say for weaknesses, you might say sometimes you like
emotional.
Yeah, I wouldn't say emotional either. People don't want to be dealing with other people's emotions at work, maybe. I mean, of course, if you want to be completely honest, you might find the perfect place for you. Do you know what I mean? But mostly you kind of want to hide your weaknesses throughout an interview. But this question is specifically asking you about your weaknesses. A lot of people say like things like, I don't know when to stop working. You know, I just keep working so hard. Sometimes I get exhausted. I work myself so hard. You know.
Can I say I cannot work under the pressure?
As a nurse, I would say that's a bad idea.
Oh.
Yeah. I suppose it depends what kind of nurse you are. But
yeah, it depends. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. You don't want somebody's life in your hands and then you're crumbling under the pressure.
I cannot use that.
You know, I would say something like, at the moment, I think maybe I don't know how to handle pressure, but I'm hoping to learn here from you and from your other experienced nurses.
It hurts not that much.
Yeah.
Like the first one.
It's just like saying, you know I'm not perfect, but I think with time I can fix this.
Yeah.
The worst answer you can give is to say that you don't have any weaknesses. Nobody believes this. Everybody has weaknesses.
Yeah, this is lie. If I say I don't have any weaknesses.
Exactly. Nobody is perfect.
Nobody is perfect, yes. Life isn't perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah. We are a human. We are not a machine. Okay. What is your greatest professional achievement?
Do you know, for someone who's straight out of college, I would talk about getting your degree. Maybe talk if the person had a difficult life or something like this, or talk about the obstacles that were in their way. Like for me, I'm terrible at mathematics, and I didn't realize. Yeah, what I didn't realize when I started studying psychology, there's actually a huge amount of mathematics involved. statistics and things like this. So
yeah, statistic. We have this
yeah,
too.
it's difficult, isn't it?
I hate.
Yeah, me too. But you can imagine I was so bad at mathematics, but I managed to work hard and study hard, and I passed it. I was very proud of this. So I think that's what I would say.
Uh-huh. And do you like physics?
No, I mean, I don't know what it is. When I see numbers, my brain turns off.
Yeah, it's the wrong question because you are, interested with psychology, and I'm asking
Physics.
physics, maths, or something. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's pretty close.
Fair enough. Okay. The next one is, tell me about a challenge or conflict you have faced at work and how you deal with it.
Excellent. So this wants to know about your interpersonal skills, how you get along with co-workers. So you could talk about how somebody was really angry with you. Maybe you made a mistake. You could say, oh yeah, I made a mistake, but I learned from it, and I went to this person. If it's a boss or someone, you could say, I went and I apologized. Or if it's a co-worker, you said, I apologized. I said I wanted to clear the air, as we say. Clear the air means to remove all the bad aspects, like start with a clean slate all over again. And you can say from then on, we realized that, maybe this problem was a misunderstanding. We made an effort to avoid any kind of misunderstandings, and we never had that problem again in the future. But if you're talking about a specific job, if you're going from one job in a certain industry to another job in a certain industry, you can talk about something very specific that happened. Maybe if you were talking about programming or something like this, there was something that programmers understand that you were able to overcome.
Okay. So, like a short story, not very long. But
exactly.
Time management is also very important, I guess, and in job interviews.
Absolutely. I think it's important to keep looking at the person's face, because if they feel like you're going on too long, they'll just interrupt you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
there's so many friends, they are telling their story over 1 hour.
Yeah, but this
they start in childhood and goes on.
It's a life story.
Very long, yeah.
I've had interviews that were 1 hour long, and I didn't get the job. I've had interviews that were 15 minutes long, and I did get the job. I feel like sometimes they've already decided whether they're going to hire you or not. They're just making sure when they talk to you in person, you're not crazy or something like this,
Yeah, exactly. Okay. My favorite question is, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
The answer is sitting in that chair.
With the flag.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I think actually this is a really good question. Yeah. Do you know at the end of an interview when they say to you, do you have any questions for me? They'll often say this, if you want, you can wait until then. But before that, if they say, where do you see yourself in 5 years? You can say, well, this is something I wanted to ask you. Is there much upward mobility in your company? For example, if I stay in my position for 2 years or 3 years, will I get a raise? Will I get a promotion? What's your system? I find it's good to counter that question with your own question and learn a little bit more. Interviewers are always impressed if you have a question to ask them.
Okay. Can I say, it can be a little bit ridiculous, but I'm just, asking this question.
Sure.
I can say, who knows, maybe 5 minutes later we will see a huge earthquake and we will die. So I cannot answer this question. I'm sorry. Can I say this?
If you're feeling a little bit lazy and you definitely don't want the job, I think that's a good answer.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, it's
even scarier if an earthquake does happen.
Yeah. Okay. It's a very dangerous question, by the way. Okay. The next question is, what's your dream job?
Yeah, I think with this, I wouldn't be so specific. I wouldn't name a company or name a position. but just say a job that you find very stable and fulfilling. One where you come into work and you maybe have something interesting to do every day, and when you go home in the evening, you feel happy about it. Yeah, because I think if you say, "What's your dream job?" and you say, "Oh, I want to be running this company," in 5 years, they're going to be thinking, "This guy's coming from my job,"
Flexible hours.
Yeah, exactly.
But some people say they want to high salaries day by day, or comfy place, something like that.
Yeah.
It's not a very satisfied answer.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird one because I think if you just say that you want a satisfying job, I don't think anyone can argue with that. You know what I mean? Everybody wants a satisfying job. It's kind of simple, but it's a little bit vague. I feel it's a question that they might follow up on. Like they'll say, maybe you say, "I want a job that leaves me satisfied. When I go home in the evening, I know I did something well." And they will say, "Oh, well," like nobody's going to say, "Oh, well, you won't get that here." When you go home in the evening, you're not going to be happy. So,
and do you think so? For example, what do you think about your job life?
Yeah, I like it. So
and you're happy with it.
Yeah, I love that. As you mentioned, flexibility. If I decide I want to go traveling tomorrow, I can just pick up everything and leave, or move to a different country. And for me, especially, I'm living abroad, but I don't speak the language, so it's very good for me to be able to work in a way where I speak English every day.
So. And what is the most satisfaction part in your job?
For me personally?
Yes.
I have had people tell me that one person in particular told me that they had bought a book many years ago in English, and they threw it behind their bed because they were angry that they couldn't read it. And this person told me that they picked up the book just a few weeks ago and they were able to read it. And they said that it was thanks to me. And it made me feel amazing. I was like, I'm so glad I actually made somebody very happy. I made a difference in their life.
Wow.
And they said, I know I don't speak English so well, but maybe in a few years I will be able to speak perfectly thanks to you. I was just blown away.
It's a very different feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't know what to say. I've never experienced anything like that in any job I ever had. It was very heartwarming.
Yeah, and you see the diversity because you are talking very different people, entire world.
Yeah, it's amazing. I see people from all over the world every day. It's like going on a holiday every time. I learn something new about people's cultures.
But let me ask you this question. What is the funniest story that you had in Cambly?
I've had some funny ones, some strange ones, I have this list of questions that I like to ask people the first time I meet them. And it's partly to gauge how good they are at English, but also to see what kind of person they are, and get to know them a little bit more. And one of the questions, I don't know if I told you this before, one of the questions is, what is happiness? And it's supposed to be a little bit abstract, a little bit difficult to answer, to kind of test the person. And they said, happiness is like peeing on yourself.
What?
Oh, yeah, I said, what? How is happiness like peeing on yourself? And they said, because everybody else can see it, but only you can feel how warm it is.
But I'm surprised right now, really. Was it women or men?
It was a man.
Did he take some alcohol or something?
I don't know. I think it was going for a metaphor, but it was kind of shocking.
Yeah, it's a very different answer that I ever heard before in my life, peeing on myself.
Yeah. Let me tell you, I did not expect that.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, thank you for sharing this, by the way.
No problem. You're very welcome.
Okay. Do we have enough time, by the way?
Sure, take your time.
Okay. I have just a few questions left here. Oh my God, I cannot read it. What's the time you disagreed with a decision that was made at work?
Okay. This question wants to know how you react to management, management is an extremely difficult job because you have to keep everybody happy. And sometimes when you're the worker, you don't see all of the information that the manager has before they make a decision. So you can talk about a time when you were unhappy about something, but maybe acknowledge that you didn't have all the information. You don't want to be saying, "Oh, I was so angry at a manager, I didn't come into work for a week." They want to know that even if you do disagree with something that the management does, you're going to continue to do your job properly anyway.
It's important as well.
Exactly.
This question. Okay, but it's not very popular, I guess, right?
I've actually never heard that before.
Okay. The next question is, what are your salary requirements?
So they want to know how much money you want.
What should we say?
Well, you see, what I recommend to a lot of people, when you are applying for a job, you should say how much money you want beforehand. Because if they're not going to give you what you feel like you deserve, then don't waste your time going to an interview. If you say, I want this amount, and you never hear back from them, then good, because they were never going to give it to you. So I would, if it came to that point where they wanted money, you say you want more than you think you're worth. Yeah. So let's say 20,000 euros, just as a number. You could say, okay, I want 25,000 euros. And they say, okay, we can't do 25,000. How about 22? And there you go. That's 2,000 more than you originally wanted.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, you should always aim high. The worst that can happen is they say no.
Yeah, and I can look for a different job if they say no, because I should take the salary that I deserve. Exactly.
Yeah. Never settle for less.
Yeah, and I really like on very huge salary.
Yeah. Excellent. You just want a lot of money right now. That's the correct answer.
Yeah. Okay. I think I have just two questions. What do you like to do outside of work?
Yeah, I think reading is a great answer here. It shows that you're always looking to learn. It shows that you're, well, it kind of makes people look intelligent. If you're someone who reads, it's better than saying I like to sit on the couch and watch TV all day. You know what I mean? But I think it's good.
But it sounds like that I'm a couch potato when I say this. Sentence.
I would avoid that. Avoid saying you watch TV. Everybody watches TV. I think it's good to say something like I like reading books, and then maybe mention a sport. And also, if you volunteer or take part in some kind of charity, I think that's a great thing to mention. It shows that you, even on your time off, you're working hard in a way.
And it shows how I'm responsible.
Exactly.
For world or for my country, for my city, something.
You have an awareness of problems that need to be fixed. That's a great thing for an employer to see.
Yeah. All right. My last question is, if you were an animal, which one would you want to be?
Where did you get this question?
I prepared for many websites.
Yeah.
And I collect all of them.
I've heard of this question. I cannot remember. There's a reason for this. I think it's kind of like they want to see how quickly you can think on your feet. You're not expecting this question. So how long does it take you to answer it?
But I think I read some articles about that, and it was saying like the question is very dangerous because it's related with the subconsciousness, and it's about the personalities. For example, if you say I would be a cat, it shows that you are very how can I say, you like to
maybe very independent.
No, you're available to love someone in very long term, or you can fall in love easily, or you need some you need some interest.
I see, lots of attention.
Yes, from other people.
I see.
You trying to being famous or something.
You need validation.
Yes. I think it's about that.
I would say maybe saying I want to be a dog then is a good answer, because all you need is the paycheck and you'll continue to be loyal.
Dog is a good answer.
I
I
think so.
remember. Yes.
Do
It
you
has
remember
good
any other
features.
answers?
Sorry?
Do you remember any other answers that people were giving for this?
I think there were cat, dog, butterfly.
Butterfly was something that came to mind, actually. I don't know why.
Yeah. I think it's related with freedom. Yeah. I remember. I think that's all. Yeah. I
It's very
should check it
interesting.
later again.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
cool.
different article, really. Yeah, I think that's all from my side.
Excellent.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it was a good conversation again,
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
as always. And I'm looking forward to see you again. But your reservation program is always full. I couldn't find a free place for me. Why?
Yeah, I'm doing very well lately, but anytime you want, let me know and I'll see if I can find some space for you.
But you are here every day, right?
Monday to Friday.
Okay. Thank you, Alan.
You're very welcome. Great to see you.
Okay, see you again.
Bye
Thanks a
bye.
lot. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.